Rolling.
This is where I will end my very long day. We are back here at the Hall of Achievement, 7th Avenue in Beaver Falls. He is Steve Higgins, and this is the coach, Karl Florie. I'm going to let you begin. July 29th, Club at Shadow Lakes, big event. Tell
Big
everybody
event,
what we're doing.
tickets are still available. Circle of Achievement, inductee banquet. We have 9 inductees going in, all great people. We're giving our scholarship awards out that night. The venue's fantastic, Shadow Lakes. Still tickets available. That's July 29th. Things start about 4:30, 4:45 with hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. Wonderful dinner that night. We are going to raffle off a Joe Namath autographed jersey. We're going to have a Chinese auction as well. So it's going to be a great night.
magicalcoach.org, and he is a magical coach. Early on in my broadcasting career, he made me sound a whole lot smarter than I was, and I'm blessed to know him and his wife all these years later. And I said, look, Mr. Maine, I know you're the main man, but we've got to get this guy a part of our videos. He is Karl Florie. Coach, look, as I said one of my blogs from home earlier, I got to believe you were like one of the first bookends as far as assistant coaches that really made a major difference in the life of Larry Bruno, and I'm sure you're going to be the first to give him credit for what you were able to do as you matriculated to Riverside and Elwood City.
Oh, you're right there, Rob. And I think you were aware of it at that time. But, I don't know how many times we did radio shows with you back in the 60s and 70s. But the thing about Larry was, and there's no doubt about it, the success that I've had, what success I've had, is directly responsible to him. And the thing that, and I know that the people in this room right now, they know that he was the magic man, but he was probably the most organized person there was. His organization was something that you could take with you. When I first went out to Riverside, I don't know what crazy idea I had that I was
Going to
going to
Riverside. And nothing. With all due respect at that time. Am I right? Come on, Steve.
Well, you know what?
Truth be told.
I really did the job here.
You are the reason
they 15.
The reason they got a football program there is because of you. I mean, who knows what happens if Karl Florie doesn't end up in Riverside? But anyway, go ahead.
But I went out there and I tried to run the Beaver Falls offense and tried to do some of these things. Well, believe me, I wasn't the magic man. And I took it on a chin, 15 straight, and it was no fun. But what Larry did, I think after the 4th game, and I had given up 200 points by then and only scored 6, he takes a ride over in a driver's ed car over to Riverside, comes in, he says, Karl, he says, do you want to come home? I says, no, Larry, I says, I'm going to beat this thing. And he smiled. He really liked the answer. But it's really something how I ended up out there, because I was very happy at Riverside, or at Beaver Falls coaching junior high. I had great kids, and this guy over here was one of the best, believe me.
No doubt.
And in fact, I think that was the 80, he was the quarterback.
Undefeated team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
we love that team.
I wasn't going to apply for it. I really wasn't. But Larry used to come to the junior high to drive Bob Schaup around to the elementary schools, and Bob was a music teacher.
Mr. Schaup.
So he came in and he says, Karl, he says, he called over, he says, Karl, he says, don't eat lunch, come with me, we're gonna take Schaup. I said, okay. So he says, Karl, he says, you know, he says the Riverside job is open. I said, yeah. It didn't mean anything to me, and I mean it, didn't, you know. But he went on to say, he says, you know, he says, if you think about it, it's an opportunity. And he says, you know, he says, you're only marketable at certain times in your life. He says, your age is working for you, your experience you've had, and the success you've had with the junior high program. He says, think about it. I says, okay, I'll think about it. I came home. I don't know even if I mentioned it to Gloria. But then, as it turned out, he also made a contact with Ken Yonke, who was the superintendent. And they came, and I didn't get the job. at first, and that didn't bother me at all that I didn't get the job. Because believe me, I was happy. I was coaching not only with the greatest coach, that coaching staff was tremendous, and we were all in the same age group. And it wasn't that we were going to work hard, but we had fun. Believe me, the staff, and you see how many of them are in
Best
the
staff
hall
in the
right now.
state, bro.
Really?
Hands down. Best coaching staff in
Who
the
was
state.
on that staff?
Well, the ones on that staff, Gene Har, of course, was the senior member. Ed Carey, Butch Ryan, Traz, Sam
Al
Adams, Bobby Blythe, Al Carbone.
All at the same time.
Dave Murray.
Yeah, and it was all a great bunch, believe me, Rob. I mean, we had a lot of fun. But I didn't get the job. And Mr. Yonke says, Karl, I'm sorry. He says the board met and they want somebody with head coaching experience. I says, good, thanks, It made me, Steve, when you pointed that out, that picture, they gave me that picture there at a little dinner they had for me out at the Black Hawk Golf Course when they have
okay.
I'll tell you what, I bawled my eyes out when it was time to really go.
Oh, we were sad to see you go too.
But everything worked out fine. But the thing on top of it all, and I've said this to many, many people, what I learned from him in football was very, very important to me and to my family. But more than football was the friendship.
Right.
And we really carried that friendship on for years and years. In the years that I was telling Steve, I found a Larry Bruno football camp shirt. Those Larry Bruno football camp shirts have been found in England. They've been found in different countries in Europe. Different people, remarked about them. And they were a treasured item to the kids. You get down the mall, that's all you would see, the Larry Bruno camp. The guys are in the dock. We had a little system that we worked. The magic man, his mind was always working. We had to make a few bucks. And what we did is we sent letters out. He and I had a ton of doctors. So we sent our letters out to the doctors that we had, asking for a donation, sponsor one of the kids or so forth. And I would get back $50, $25 and so forth.
Right.
But my heart specialist, Dr. Slamenda, he wore his all the time. He said when he went running, and Dr. Prendergast, who just retired, he is my general practitioner, he wanted to know before he left if I had another one that I could give to him. But I have one that I found that I'm going to give it to Steve. That's where it's going.
Where it should be. Listen, in closing, obviously we've gone through a lot of falls in football Friday nights. But community, I've been talking about the last couple of days when I've been on the road promoting the Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine Friday night games of the week that are going to be on that other place that I work quite frequently, KDKA. But back in the day, when Beaver Falls, the city was thriving, corporate America was here, there was no bigger ticket in town than Reeve Stadium on a Friday night when Beaver Falls was playing football, right?
Well, these gentlemen that are just sitting here today could probably tell you more than I could tell you, because they were fighting tigers from their youth on. I joined on. I was an Elwood City Wolverine. But the tradition that they had, and then the feeling that before the game, how they would line the streets, the people would line the streets, and the things that Larry did. I mean, he made the program, a high school program, first class. Probably the kids got treated better than maybe a lot of the kids that went to college. The pregame meals they had, the way they had to dress, the way the coaches had to dress, the little influence he had on, he didn't try to be a preacher or anything like that, but he made it mass available for the Catholic kids, and the non-Catholic kids had their services, and it was just a touch of something special. I know that I finally, when I went to Riverside, some of those things I really had to include in our program. And I had a Presbyterian minister who was just fabulous, a guy by the name of Dudley Rose. But it was so important And I'm sure maybe that was the only religion some of the kids had. But the meals, you remember Steve, what he would do? He was funny about
Bland piece of steak, baked
dried
potato,
no
butter, nothing, just plain
iced
baked
tea with no
potato,
sugar.
plain piece of meat.
Well, listen, we're going to move on because we got lots of people here tonight. You know how much love I have for you. There
Rob.
wouldn't be a Rob Pratt without you and so many of these people that are part of this wonderful organization. I'm grateful for everything.
Rob, I
And I love
appreciate
you
it.
like a
I
brother.
love you. We've
I
had
know
some
that.
good moments. And these guys here from the Bruno Foundation, the job they've done is just so outstanding.
Just sit here, I gotta say one thing. So we're in Elwood City a couple years ago doing something. Some of the best coaches quotes I've had my entire life. Gino DeMarco of Geneva said to me once, anytime you hear a coach say he wants to retire to spend more money with his, more time with his family, he says that means they have no talent coming back, okay? And this guy, when Elwood City, we were sitting in the locker room and I said, well, the numbers are different now. And he said, forget the numbers. Give me 2 good players, we'll get the job done. Thank you, Karl. God bless you very much. We got much more to come tonight, right here at the Larry Bruno Foundation Hall of Achievement in Beaver Falls. The coach, Karl Florie. Give him a standing ovation. There he is.